There's a case going on. A high school track race, there was an incident. Some people are calling it an accident, some are calling it deliberate. Uh, and there's also racism involved. Okay, one, I'd like to know how racism is involved. Two, how is the so called assailant more important than the so called actual victim? And there are other curious aspects to the story. Okay. What happened that I've seen so far? A high school girls' track meet. Three girls were in the lead. As they turned, one girl took her baton, and it seems like she hit one of the other girls in the head because she took over her spot. She was still in her lane, but she moved up to second place. Now, I've seen video even taken from the back of them. My opinion, and I will be saying this through the video, this Markeisha girl, she did it and she did it on purpose. You can see her pulling it all the way back. I'm nothing of a runner. Nothing of a runner. Track meets, whatever. No. But in all the years I've seen this stuff, I haven't seen anything like this. And I'm not talking about movies, TV shows. I'm talking about sporting events, things at school, whatever. I never saw anyone take the baton and do that. Oh no, it was the way I was running and my arms were swinging, and no, you pulled this one really, really far back. Now, if this was a normal thing for her, I think she shouldn't have been on the team, because how do you make sure she controls her arm enough to not go out that far and actually be able to hit someone? No one but the girl's parents checked on her to see if she was okay, the one who got hit. At first, they were saying it was a cracked skull. Now they're saying a concussion. Now, Markeisha, the assailant, and I will keep calling her that because, in my opinion, she did do it on purpose. Also, she did assault her. Accidental or not, she was the assailant. Okay? Because I know I'm going to hear stuff about you're racist, you have no right to be saying this stuff or talking on this. Yeah? Go away. Okay, and the school officials have not reached out to the victim to find out, is she okay? You know, yeah, they see it all on media. She's got a concussion, she's talking, she's a. These were two of your students who got into a bad altercation that led one of them going to the hospital. Now, the assailant, Markeisha, claimed she tried to reach out, but the victim blocked her on everything. Okay. She never once said on camera, which she will probably say it now just to cover her own butt. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that to you. I swear I didn't mean that to you. like a personal thing that she could see, at least see. No, she's crying that she is being assaulted by people on social media, all this other stuff, and it's racist because she's being called a hood rat and all this other stuff. I guarantee you, if you go look at the stuff, the majority of those racial comments are being done by black people. Go check it out. And I'm not saying white people ain't saying bullshit. They probably are too. But I guarantee you the racism shit, majority is coming from the majority of black people commenting on it. Okay? Um Markeisha has also been on the news and whatever crying. Nobody's asking about me. Nobody's asking about my mental health. You cracked your opponent in the head with an aluminum baton. Enough force you can hurt someone with a plastic spoon by throwing it at them. And you can see this girl pulled her arm back, Markeisha, the assailant, and it looked like she tried to do it again. Now, I'm watching a video from Real Nathan Daly. He's really good. He reacted to this. So did Modern Renaissance Man, which Modern Renaissance Man is another great, great content creator. He speaks with sense. He's not into all the woke bullshit, which is bull. Um, and there have been plenty of other people who have reacted to this and reacted to other reactors. I'm about to react to him, so please go sub up to him. He's really good. Real Nathan Daly. Now, just getting his video. Oh, look, over here it says Nate the lawyer. Runner charged after causing skull fracture. So, yeah, I don't really know if it's a skull fracture or a concussion or a combo of both, but it's good she was charged. People who drink and drive, even though they're inebriated, they cause an accident. Even people who are not inebriated cause accidents. And they're still held accountable for what happened. She needs to be held accountable too. Here we go. Intentional strike. Track runner hits opponent with baton. Expert reacts.
$1 million question. Everybody wants to know, was this an accident or was this intentional? And listen, you have two young adults competing. They're racing on the track. One of the girls gets smacked in the back of the head with a baton, which is a very solid baton, though it's light. Okay, you get struck with that hard enough, you guys, it definitely will hurt. And a lot of opinions. A lot of people are saying it's an accident. Some people are saying it's intentional. Listen, I'm going to give you my thoughts and perspective as a law enforcement expert, someone who's investigated numerous of crimes and also have broken down numerous of video, body cam footage, security footage. I'm going to give you my thoughts play by play as how I would actually investigate this, the questions that I would ask, and then also what I'm actually looking for. So let's dive into it. Let's not waste any more time. First, let's go ahead and play the news clip. They're going to break down the basics, and then we will take a look at the actual video, slow it down, and I'm going to give you my thoughts as to whether or not this is intentional. But I want to know what you guys think after watching this. Does this look like an intentional strike? All right.
recovering nearly a week after being hit on the head by another runner during a race. Junior Kaylin Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200 relay in the Virginia State High School League Championships when the shot.
See, at a certain point, it looked kind of like an unnatural movement. Yeah, I'm trying to enlarge this, it won't let me. But an unnatural movement that she jerked her arm and she pulled it back to do a hit. Yeah, I see someone named Damn D do this a lot, so I'm gonna do it. I guess it would be this, the really, really slow. I should pay more attention to Damn D. Okay.
Race. Junior
Yo,
Kaylin.
that didn't work. What happened? What did I do? Or what did I not do? Okay, what does that do?
Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200.
No, that's too fast. I'll get this eventually. Let's try that.
Relay
Yeah.
in the Virginia State High School League Championships when
No one else is rearing their arm back all that way. I have never ever seen that.
State High School League Championships.
See? No one else's arms is going that way. Look how far back she did it. And this is Markeisha. This is where she's an imbecile. Everything is on camera today. You don't want to see it, don't do it. It's not like in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. Somebody may have been able to take a snapshot because they were taking a picture of something else and they accidentally caught something. That was rare. Nowadays, it's not rare. She pulled it all the way back here. Now look at this other girl. It's down. Why is this up? I hope they show the one from the back because you even saw it here. She fucking, oops, sorry. She pulled it back. See, running normal. She's not putting her arm too far back. She's not doing it. Oh, where'd it go? It looks like they did it too. There she is. She's in her own lane. She's in her own lane. The arms are not going back. Even this arm. Why isn't this arm up in the air going backwards? I think I did something a little too far.
or during a
Wait a minute.
race.
So, but I want to know what you guys think after watching this. Does this look like an intentional strike? All right.
My opinion, yes.
Recovering nearly a week
See? She lifted it up. She lifted it up high. She pulled her arm back.
after being hit on the head by
And you see
another
right there, it
runner.
looked like she was trying to do it again. And people are saying, no, that's her pulling her hand back, trying to get control over it.
Race.
The girl falls on the ground. Did Markeisha stop running to go look at her to see if she was okay or this and that? No, I think she stopped running to try to cover her ass.
Junior Kaylin Tucker was running the second leg of the 4x200 relay in the Virginia State High School League Championships when the shocking incident
You see?
happened.
That's when she hit me
It
with the
even went to the back of her head like a side movement. Now, how is this racist? Because people are calling Markeisha the one who did it, a hood rat, this, that, and the other thing. So what now? Black people are going to use the race card on other black people? That's going to be interesting. Stupid, but interesting. Oh, wait a minute. I don't know. I don't remember what Markeisha looks like. Is Markeisha darker than what I think her name is Caitlin? Because if she is, I've seen a lot go on, and I have seen this where it's mostly dark women, dark girls. They will go to beat up whoever's lighter than them out of sheer jealousy. And it could even be like you can see here. He seems really dark. He seems really dark. She seems lighter. She seems lighter. Some woman or girl this complexion will look at these two, see the attention they're getting, get jealous, and then beat them up or hurt them or harass them or something. I've seen this. It's all over YouTube. It's all over World Star Hip Hop. It's all over other places. So this is not my opinion. It is fact that it is going on. But I wonder.
time.
Watch again as you see the two sprinters running side by side as they round the corner with Kaylin on the outside, Kaylin's mother cheering her on. Just as Kaylin is passing the other runner, the athlete swings her baton, striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head and then I fell off the track.
She tried to get rid of it.
Baton striking Kaylin.
I just felt a bang on my head
Or
and
it
then I
looks like she tried to get rid of it. She might have still hung on to it like a trophy or something. Crazy people do that.
fell off the track immediately.
Kaylin dropping her baton and reaching for her head. The 16-year-old was
Okay, I thought Caitlin's baton was Markeisha's baton and dropped it. Markeisha saw what she just did, and she had still the wherewithal to say, you know what? I'm gonna hang on to mine, and I don't care what I said before. I'm gonna hang on to mine, and I'm gonna win. With what just happened, there is no winner or loser. This is what's gonna take over all the attention. Now, I don't know how the rules work with this, but considering that happened, the race should be called off. No winners, no losers, just stop because some horrible thing happened.
later diagnosed with a concussion. The family says neither the athlete who struck Kaylin nor the other team's coaches checked on Kaylin or reached out afterwards.
Okay, so for the sake of this discussion, you guys, this young lady right here is going to be considered the victim. Okay, so I'm going to refer to her as the victim.
She is
okay,
good.
and then of course the suspect. Let's actually pull up a video giving her explanation, and then we will break down the actual video, and I'm gonna give you my thoughts. All right, so here's who we're considering the suspect.
Okay, no. So to me, um, maybe it's the lighting, but they look like they're the same skin color. Now, if that's the light in her face making her lighter in appearance, then what I said, it may be a factor. It's all over the place. It's not me being racist. It is not racist to see what is going on. And if this is the stuff I've seen going on, I can go and pull up 100 videos right now where this goes on, where darker skinned women will make fun of lighter skinned women. Now, I've hung out with Hispanics my whole life. I never saw that with Hispanics. Never saw it with the white people I was hanging out with. And to be fair, the black people I was hanging out with, I never saw that either. I never saw that until YouTube. I'm also in a sector of YouTube where I see this every single day. The darker skinned women will go after lighter skinned women just because they're lighter skinned or because a guy talks to them more. It's the same thing like with age stuff. Most men would prefer a younger woman. Older women in this particular sector of YouTube not only get pissed off at that, but go after the women and then go after the men for rejecting them for someone younger. And I know this goes on every place. Husbands leave their wives for someone younger than them, but still kind of looks like them. Kanye West, Bruce Willis, and there are a ton more who went for a woman that looks really similar to their wife. Now, you could say all you want, well, they have a preference. Yeah, the preference is their wife, but they wanted a younger version. So it's the same thing, apparently. If you have one woman who's really dark, one woman who's really light or kind of light, the darker woman will go off, and I have not seen this with men. I'm thinking, okay, a little bit on YouTube where they're just calling each other light skin. But the brutality because of the looks? No, even on YouTube, even the brutality of the verbal assaults go from like 0 to 1,000 with the darker women. Now, the lighter women snap after that. So it could have been something like that too. Maybe it wasn't because Markeisha was running behind. Maybe there was some boyfriend problem involved or girlfriend, this is 2025. And regardless of the reason, you can see it. She drew back and hit her and tried to hit her again. Now, a lot of people might say that's hood rat mentality. I don't think that's hood rat mentality. I think, uh, well, I'm saying hood rat, so the really bad sections, that might been a way of survival. Now, I don't know where this girl grew up, but I do know with media and all that other stuff, this stupid stuff gets into their brains. They're doing edibles, they're doing vaping, they're doing this, they're doing that. She may or may not be because I don't know if they drug test them because they're only in high school. But with all the brainwashing, and I'm assuming there are chemicals in the food too to make us more docile. In the food and the things we drink, whatever. I I have never seen this happen. Never. And I know I'm gonna get told off for saying darker women, lighter women. Well, then everyone should get rid of all their videos because the proof is there. I'm just saying that's a form of jealousy and it happens. But I've never seen, even when we were younger and kids and we went to Tar Beach, which is the roof, we'd go to the roof, put on baby oil. There was no, there wasn't, nobody made fun of who was lighter, who was darker. The Hispanics, the whites, the blacks, we all went up there to Tar Beach, baby oil, and just baked in the sun. Nobody, the only color that was a concern was red. Because if you're turning too red, that's a sunburn. And we would look out for each other like that. Even the black girls, if they were getting a little too red, and there are times you can see the red. There are. They'd either flip over or they'd put on the shirt they bought and brought with them and make sure they don't burn anymore. But that could be a factor here. We'll find out.
Suspect, okay? This is Markeisha Jackson.
Everybody has feelings. So you're physically hurt, but you're not thinking of my mental, right?
Why should anyone think of your mental when you did it? We see it. You did it. And no, I don't care. If the girls involved were white, it would be the same thing. You pulled it back, you hit her, and you went for a second hit. How bad did you want this girl to go down? How bad? How bad? How bad did you want her out of the race? You went to do it a second time, so this was no accident. I mean, what's it gonna come out? Markeisha is actually a boy who was named Mark, but he's been transgender for so long it didn't come out yet. But they're gonna put a twist on it, like they're trying to do, to say she's a victim too. She ain't no victim. She's the assailant, the perpetrator. This is what she did. Let this have been a dog race, cat race, bird race. One of them attacked the other one. So honestly, any reason you can come up with, even though we may want to know, it's not going to matter. She did it.
Layla Everett is a decorated athlete and senior at IC Norcom High School. She would have never thought her trip to the Class 3 track and field state finals last Tuesday would take a drastic turn.
They're going off of one angle. After a couple times hitting her my baton.
No. And you need to change the battery in your fire alarm, smoke alarm. Um, there is a video, and I hope it's played here. I don't know if it will be. It was filmed entirely from the back. And she's saying, look, you didn't see it from the back. What's she going to say now when she sees, yeah, somebody was filming it from the back? What then?
Got stuck behind her back like this and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears
It never touched her back. It didn't roll up her back. She pulled back and swung forward.
intentional, but Alayla says it was accidental.
But I know my intentions.
Right there from the back, her arm went all the way back in the punching motion.
I would never hit somebody on purpose. I didn't have to see a first video, second video, 10 video. I know 100% that she won't do that to nobody.
Her parents outraged.
One, that's what parents do. Two, they could be looking for a payout. And no, that's not because they're black. That's because that's what people do nowadays. Everybody now is one of those people who will throw themselves in front of a moving car that isn't moving that fast and claim whiplash. Case in point, a woman named Queen Regina trying to sue a man named Kwame Brown.
At the backlash. The IC Norcom relay team was disqualified, a ruling that a local USA.
Okay, what I'll say here, pausing, is the parents' opinion of their child absolutely means nothing. Okay, they're not obviously a credible witness. Okay,
Right.
I can't tell you how many times I've arrested so many, obviously, children, young adults, and their parents are completely spellbound, right? They're clueless. They're like, not my Johnny, right? Not my Ashley, not my Tamika, not my Tyrone. Okay, so what the parents have to say is irrelevant. Okay, we look after the evidence, we look at the interviews and things of that nature.
Yeah.
We're gonna come back to this video here to the right. This is actually the victim, and to the left here is the suspect. So let's keep going. As you're starting to see, the victim is catching up to the
Passes
suspect.
her.
One thing I want to point out that's really important is the lane. Okay, I want you to focus on the lane that the suspect and
Yeah, and this point, I think she notices the girl. It kind of looks like she's looking at her. She's looking at her, getting ready to pass her.
the victim are actually running in. All right, and look how close they are to each other. And at some point in time,
And it does look like she keeps looking and seeing her pass her.
the victim stated that their elbows were clashing. All right. Before we even get into the swing, this is what I want you to see. Okay, look at where the lady in the red is. Okay, the young lady in the red, she's more centered. Okay,
Right. And she's going into the other side. Which I'm sure happens. I mean, you spin anything around, it can go off to the side and whatever. But I think this was her, Markeisha, coming over to hit her and trying to do it nonchalantly.
lane one. She's confident she's in that lane. She's owning that lane. What you see here from the suspect is that she is actually staying closer to the outside of her own lane. And in my opinion, it appears to me that she's doing this as an attempt to keep the victim from being able to overtake her and go into her lane.
Yeah.
Obviously, she knows that that's the intention. Okay.
See? Okay, it's a commercial now, but she pulled it up and back.
This is not a natural storm that will.
She pulled it up, she pulled it back. It didn't do that during any place else. It does it here. And look what's right in the way.
All right. The baton goes up against her back. At this point, this is where she's saying it got caught on her shirt, and that the momentum of her recalibrating herself is what caused her hand to come down quickly
Okay, I see nothing getting caught. Let's see if we'll see something getting caught.
and strike her in the head. Unfortunately, you guys, that is just not believable just from the video.
Arm's not caught.
Here's why. The moment the baton is free, okay, look what happens in the video. The moment the baton is free, that motion stops. From
And how come the other arm is that way? She pulled it back that hard that that motion twisted her entire body?
there's a second motion where she's now pulling the baton back
Yep,
for maximum distribution,
yep.
okay? And you will see it here. And then
Still, I saw no catching in the shirt, no tugging, no nothing. And her arm is out of the shirt, no sleeve on the shirt.
you see the targeted of the strike. Her elbows are turned this way.
Hmm.
Her arm comes out in a swinging motion directed towards the head.
Yep.
It's not coming down in a waving motion as a hand that's being recalibrated back down to run. It's coming back further after.
And also, what I've seen in fights today, not just with black kids, not just with white kids, not with just with Hispanics, the aggressors go for the head and they keep hitting on the head. You hit a head too hard in just the right place, the person's dead. Could Markeisha have been so mad she wanted that at that point? Don't say it's a stretch. In every group of color people, black, white, whatever, we have seen where the rage builds up in a human being so bad they lash out. It's quite possible she has regrets now, or after she saw it done, even be like, oh my God, what did I just do? Completely possible. Completely possible. She did it. She did it on purpose. Now, are they going to pull like rage killings and she can get off? Rage killings are spur of the moment and usually physical, no weapons. I mean, my opinion, you got to go into another room, get a gun, and then come back. That's premeditative thought. You are running on emotions, but you thought, where was the gun? Where was the dresser the gun was in? To pull open the drawer, move clothes around, get the gun, some instances load it, and your rage is building because you're probably hearing them and knowing what they're doing, and but you still had thought enough to do all that stuff. You shouldn't get off. You had a one track mind, but you're the only one who can control that and make a detour. It's quite possible in this moment she looked at the girl and said, oh no way, bitch. Maybe this is something she normally would not have done. She did it now. And there was enough thought put into it. She went for a second hit because of how fast she was able to get it up. Once she saw the girl was hit and moving, that's when she put it down. And she had control when she did that.
After it's cleared, she twists further back, and then she looks
Yep.
at the head.
Hmm.
She aims, and then you see a striking motion, and then you see the complete extension of the completed strike. And then from there, she brings back the arm over her head, and she continues to run while the girl runs right past her. Okay, here we go. Strike.
See?
She holds the baton up,
She's
out of the
going for
way,
more strikes and shit.
and then watch how she gets back into the
I
run
say that's
stride.
going for more strikes.
There you go. So let's break down this entire thing. Okay, they're
Okay.
running. Obviously, there's a level of frustration going on. You're bumping against the person who's absolutely caught up to you. You're probably shocked. You're probably frustrated. You're rubbing elbows, and then your baton does swing against her back, and you see her. You see her back. Okay, you know it's game over. She's
Yeah. She saw it go up her back. She might have thought, do it. Because that gave her the idea it was a possibility.
about to pass you. In a moment of frustration from clashing side by side, and you know she's trying to take over your lane, out of a moment of anger and frustration, you have an explosive moment where it may look like you're trying to push her off out of frustration and not realizing you had that baton still in your hand. Muscle memory meaning that you don't control your anger well, and through frustration you're trying to smack her out the way, not realizing in that moment, in the heat of the moment, that you're holding a baton.
Could be. In that little moment, but she knew it was a baton when she saw it go, first up her back. She said she saw it go up her back. Even if she went to just hit her and didn't realize there was a baton in her hand, the intent was to assault her. That's still a crime. I think you need to go back and see if there were any other instances that nobody's heard of. Maybe school documents, hospital records, maybe, who knows? Because if this has happened before, I say all that other shit goes out the window. This is just how this girl is. But regardless, she does have to pay for what she did. She has to. What could that be? Well, first of all, with the way I'm seeing the world now, she's going to get fined by the city, state, whatever, because of all the manpower that was used on police, the investigations, whatever, and try to get money out of her and her family for that. She should, and depending on how far in high school she is, because if you're 18, you're a legal adult. If you're under 18, you could still be a senior. So, depending on that, maybe make her parents, if Marquisha's underage, pay all the hospital bills. Pain and suffering to me is something different. We don't even know if there are going to be repercussions down the road from what this happened. We don't know what else could happen to her. We don't know if a chip of the skull came off somewhere and is traveling around, whether it's on the outside of the skull or the inside. They also say that the inside of the skull when we're born is rather jagged in a sense. And that's why shaking a baby, it's not just the snapping of the neck or the brain jiggling around in there. The skull isn't fully formed on the inside yet, hence the little soft spot on top. Um, and the baby's brain can get cut and whatever from those. I think I heard it said once that after 17 years old, that's not an issue anymore, but up to 17, it is. I could be wrong. This was years and years and years ago. Things could have changed. But what if it is correct? And what if Caitlin was younger, her brain not fully, the skull not fully developed, still jagged edges? This the brain hit these jagged edges, and we may not know the effects of it for years to come. And I could just be talking out of my ass right now. But they're finding out things medically every single day. She did it. The motions had purpose and meaning. She did it. Whether she remembered she was holding a weapon or not, she wanted to hit that girl. Now, if she's never ever done anything like this before, I think you can't ruin her life by giving her. I mean, yeah, give her something for the assault because she did it. Sometimes people get away with something once, they try to do the same thing again. Different situation, but the same actions. So you got to punish her somehow. And if this has never happened before, it should be taken into consideration. Maybe she can get probation for 2 to 3 years. That cuts into her work time. What's going to cut into uh, Caitlin's work time and whatever she wants to do, college time, whatever. If whatever happened that the doctors have not detected yet or cannot detect yet happens and something happens to her and she physically cannot work, so don't give me this bullshit. 2 to 3 year probation. This way she can do the stuff she needs to do and give her community service at a place where she might be able to do some good. Like a emergency room. Because that's where Caitlin would have had to have been taken. And for those 2, 3 years she's doing, yes, the community service should be that long. In that time, she might see someone like Caitlin come in and see what Caitlin might have had to gone through, and how you have to think about, even before you know what could be wrong with your kid, you could be thinking your kid's now brain damaged for the rest of its life. It's going to be like a vegetable. These things go through parents' heads when this happens. It's not the first thought, the second thought, the third thought, the fourth thought, but somewhere along the line, these are the thoughts that come out. And I think she needs to, in a sense, be a part of it, but just see it. See the pain the kid's going through. See the pain the parents are going through. You know, hear all the things that could have happened. And then she learns her lesson, and she has practical work experience at this place where she might be able to use that to get a job at a place like that later on if she wants it. So her life isn't ruined, but she got punished. Psychiatric care, I think, is a must. And she's got to do all this. There isn't enough time in the day. Doesn't matter. You did this. Caitlin may not have a time in a day right now if things went the other way. You know? And as far as her being a track star in the future, she could still train for it and whatever, but she'd have to be really monitored for a while to see if there are any signs she might try this again. And if she does, she cannot be in paid for, sponsored events, whatever, because she's too much of a risk. And as much as I'm saying, yes, she did it, she did it, she did. If this isn't a pattern, her life should not be fucked up by it. It is quite possible she is concerned about her teammate, this girl, whoever she was, classmate. But in a lot of cases, in a lot of things, we tend to think our pain is worse than somebody else's, even though it's the same exact thing, but we're the one going through it. There could have been situations where we were on either side of that fence, and we know how each is. But we're older now. We know there are consequences. There are things you have to do to try to make up for it. And I also think it should be a thing of, I don't know, maybe once a month or whenever they have them. She's got to go around in her town, her area, not like, if she was here in New York, it would be the five boroughs because you can get to them. Staten Island's a little tricky because of the ferry, but it can be done. Have her go to these talks and tell what happened and try to let other kids know, don't do this. Don't. That's what I think she should be doing. After all that stuff, and there's even time in there to keep training, to keep running if she wants. She's going to have to work it out. For decades, people have been working out their time and just saying, I have no time. No, they found a way to make it work. And this isn't, she made the choice to do this. So now she should have no choice and have to do that stuff in order to try to make up for it. While keeping up her grades, you know, things can be worked out. Does she need party time? No. Screw that shit. Well, everybody need. No. The time she would waste on parties would be time she should be resting to do the stuff she has to do for the 2 or 3 years. And she's only 17. I don't know how long trials are, this and that, but let's say it was to start right now. 2 to 3 years, she's 19, 20. She didn't even hit 21 yet. She still has the rest of her life if she kept up with her track exercises and things like that. She could get back into track, the racing, the running. If not, oh well, look what you did. So you face the consequences, you do what you have to do. But if you didn't do this in the first place, that might not be an issue. Seems harsh? I don't care. I don't care. What if there are medical problems down the road with Caitlin because she got hit in the head with a baton by a jealous bitch who didn't want to lose the race or whatever it was to do something like that? It's some form of jealousy, even if it's getting ahead of her, whatever. She chose to do that. You don't know what Caitlin may go through in the future. But Markeisha could do anything else. She could. The experience in the emergency room or whatever, experience in a lot of a ton of instances. I just lost the word I was going to say. But it's really important. Okay? That experience might get her into a program, be be a nurse practitioner, doctor, maybe the clerical side is what would interest her. Maybe the social worker side would interest her. She'll have all that experience and knowledge that would be an asset to her if she would try to go into those fields. And I understand maybe she don't want to go into those fields. Well, maybe Caitlin didn't want to get bashed in the head. But Markeisha did that.
Um, and in that striking, waving motion, she was struck in the head. You could see her looking directly at her head when she strikes her. The other issue was the lack of empathy. You knew you hit her because you admit that you did, and then you're watching her hold her head as she run past you, and you never stopped.
Yep. Uh-huh.
Here's my issue. We're gonna just one more time, just so you guys can see it.
And I said maybe she stopped, maybe she didn't. No, she did not stop. She continued to race and probably tried to win. She didn't give two shits about that girl, and there's the proof. Now, I'm not going to lay blame and say, oh, well, it's what they call the community. It's the community where she's from. I'm not going to say it's the neighborhood she's from. I'm not going to say it's the parents that did this to her. She chose to do this. She knew it was wrong before doing it. She did have control, so she knew during it, and she knew after it. Since she thought about doing it and then did it, and you can see that in the video, because she looked at Caitlyn a number of times. This was premeditated, it was spur of the moment, but she got the idea and ran with it. She shouldn't be on another track team. Oh, because if another bitch gets in her way, she's just going to do the same thing. There you go.
Um,
Do you need a free, easy way to capture your gameplay? Introducing Outplayed. Record anything on your PC.
and here we go. The winding. She's looking. Okay, she's not looking ahead. She's looking directly at her head. Okay, look at the position of the elbow, the angle which the elbow is at. She's looking at her head. She's looking. I guess it'll be this way. She's looking, and she strikes down.
Watch some idiot say it was self defense because look where her arm is. Looks like it's in hitting position too. Watch, somebody's going to say that shit.
Just like this. Boom. It'd be one thing if, again, she's recalibrating back into that running stride and she swings the arm downward and she catches the victim's arm. That would be more accurate.
But this, it was stretched out.
And then look how she brings the baton back. Wow. What's disappointing about this, you guys, I'm not going to lie, honestly, is the fact that she didn't own up to it. Instead, she lied. You know, these tears, ain't nobody believing this. I'm going to point out to you one thing that caught me looking at her during this her statement that she gave. She's going to make eye contact up until she starts not being honest. And then you're going to see her eyes go down. She's going to be looking down in a sense when she's not being honest. Why do people do that? Two reasons in my experience.
Okay, and I have a question. And this is a serious question. I don't know the answer. But it's also a very, very stupid question. Why was she crying wearing false eyelashes? I remember using mascara, and when it got too wet there and you closed your eyes like you went to sleep or whatever, even when you were awake and talking, it would start to like stick. So the liquid in our eyes can affect whatever we do cosmetically, not surgically, but just cosmetically. So wouldn't that liquid mess up with the glue and whatever and start hurting her eyes or something? Or the lashes fall off? Has nothing to do with what's going on. But it just hit my head. I remember mascara. And there were times that burned if you were crying or whatever. So wouldn't, like I said, wouldn't the glue hurt her eyes? I'm just asking.
Experience, embarrassment, and then also shame, guilt. Okay, right here she says, after a couple times hitting her with my baton. Okay, so she admits to that, just like the victim did. Here,
And I said a couple of times. A couple. It's not just one hit, it was more than one hit. Both girls have said that.
here's the eye movement. She's looking down when she's about to tell this part of the story.
Got stuck behind her back like this, and it rolled up her back. I lost my balance, and when I pumped my arms again, she got hit.
It appears
She didn't look like she lost her balance at all.
That's a big telltale sign. All right. It may not seem like much to you, but when you're sitting across from somebody and you're interviewing them on a crime that they're getting ready to go to jail for, that you want to prosecute them on, when people start changing their eye position, when they start looking around on certain things, when they can't talk to you directly, when they start stuttering over certain words, these are indicators. And these are indicators that you pull out of people after you've had regular conversations about things and in general, and you see how they react when they are telling things that they don't have a reason to lie about. And then once you start seeing a shift in their mannerisms, a shift in the way they use their eye contact, those are indicators that I know and document. Well, why would she lie about this part? Okay. And so these are things that I pick up. So let me just slow it down so you can kind of see exactly what I would pick up on. And again, it's a good way to examine red flags that you need to pay attention to. So she's giving her statement. She's very clear and she's explaining everything up until the strike. And then you see a difference in her mannerisms. She's looking up. She's talking about this actually happened. We see this on the video. Okay. The baton slides up against the victim's back. Okay. She's saying that she recalibrated because she lost her balance and then she started pumping again. Her arm swung out this way. All right. But in actuality, if she's recovering from this position, then even if she's losing her balance, you don't see her lose her balance while she's running. But let's say she's losing her stride. Even still, her arm shouldn't swing out this way towards the head. It still actually should come forward. Striking the victim is not the issue. Where she struck her is the problem. And she's describing it. And this is when she's telling the lie. She's looking away. She's looking down. She's not making eye contact at all. Okay. But when you look at her previous statements,
deep in the oldest part of Cairo, there's a mysterious salon known as the Crown Temple, run by a group of Black women in their 70s.
her eyes are open. You can see she's being honest. No one's concerned about my mental. Okay, this is what she's saying. No one's concerned about how I feel. Yeah, you hurt, but she's grabbing, looks like some tissue. But she doesn't have an issue being honest about how she feels. seems like she has an issue admitting to the intent of the actual strike. I think my closing personal opinion, I think that she did it out of frustration. I think that she did not want to do it. I think it was reactionary. I think it was out of frustration. I think she was already angry that she was behind. And then she was also getting irritated that she kept bumping elbows with this girl who's getting ready to overtake her in her lane. So then she positions herself in a way to make it difficult for this girl to pass her. And as the victim starts to pass her, this frustration overtakes her. She's constantly bumping her baton against her body. And as a last resort of frustration, when she snatches her hand back out of anger, she releases it into a strike. Her face is pointed directly at the head. Her arm is aimed directly at the back of the girl's head. She makes a sweeping motion across the head, extends the arm as a strike, brings the arm back up in the air as the girl's holding her head. She's running across the screen, the track, off into the side, and she sees her, watches her hit the ground. She knows she hit her now. Okay. The girl is admitting that she's aware that she hit her. And the fact that she didn't go over there and check and stop, to me, lets me know that she was not concerned. She did not care. Her frustration was satisfied. And her frustration being satisfied is why she continued on the race. I can't imagine how people would actually smack somebody back of the head of baton, see them fall over, and then not stop. So that's how I would look at it. I would ask the parents if they'd want to press charges, and I would go from there, you guys.
Yep.
But that would be what I would put together in my investigation, the things that I would look at. And the questions I would ask the young girl is, have they raced together before? Okay. I would want to know what the suspect's track record is like, meaning, is she number one? Has she always won? I'd want to know kind of what's been going on in her life in the past week or so. Has there been some issues? Is she struggling with maybe some depression at the moment? Is she doing good in school? I would also look at obviously the pressure that she might be under. You know, how good is her school doing? What is the pressure? Is she considered a superstar? We see all the accolades. Has she been losing lately? Okay, so all these things would play into a level of frustration where you would see maybe an explosive anger out of anger and out of frustration. Obviously, there's no justification in it, but my thing is trying to get to an understanding as to why she would respond that way. I would also ask other people, is she known to have a temper? That's important too. You know, a lot of these athletes, you guys, they are very competitive and they don't like to lose. And so this is the first time I've ever seen something like this. But those are the questions I would ask. I would even ask the victim, you know, have you ran against her before? You know, is she an up and coming star? So are they often competing against each other during these track meets? That's important because it shows that there's a history there, a history of frustration, right? Do they know each other? That's also very important to ask and things like that. One of the things that she said, that the suspect said, is that the victim unfollowed her. Okay. So these are things that I'm looking at. And you know, that's kind of how I would come down to my investigation from there. But that's my thoughts. What do you guys think? Was this intentional or was it an accident? What do you think? Let me get your thoughts below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. With that, good night. God bless.
I feel it was intentional. She didn't try this any other time. So, whatever past issues they had, that might have been a little irritant to this. But she saw the girl almost past her. Then she saw the girl did pass her, and she wanted to stop her by hitting her. That's a problem. So, I would like to hear people's thoughts in the comment section on what has happened. I don't want to hear anybody's crap. Yeah, racist. Everything I brought up, I've seen. It's out there. Anyone can see it. I'm talking about this case. On to the next video.